Hello, children. Welcome back to Reading Workshop. You guys already know who I am. I'm Miss Hans. We are going to be going over some more of this important skill work that we did in our historical fiction unit, and we're just going to wrap it up so we can get ready for our next unit. So as I mentioned before in our last session, we are going to be reviewing 4 skills that we were tested on. We were tested on making inferences about characters, talking about perspective, parts to whole, and theme. So we did inferences about character last time. Today we're going to think about perspective work. So let's go to our teaching point. It reads, readers think about character perspective by using what they know about the character's life experience or their roles to explain why the character feels this way. So we know the word perspective means how someone feels and what he or she thinks about something. And we have the word role. Role is who is the character in society. So we know for Bud, we said his role was a young boy during the Great Depression. But today we're going to meet new characters. So today we're going to be going over analyzing perspective. Come on, follow me. Here is the question you guys had on your assessment. Grandma has strong feelings about the people that show up at her door. How would you describe Grandma's perspective? Support your response with 2 details from the text. And we have a response here for somebody in 4th grade. So let's see what this person wrote. I would describe Grandma's perspective as helpful. For example, she cares for others by handing out food, and she also lets the people in need to hang out for a while. So I'm noticing that this person is kind of describing who Grandma is as a person, helpful. But we know that the word perspective means how does the person feel about them. So maybe instead of saying Grandma's perspective as helpful, maybe we can describe more how she's feeling. Let's try this work. So I have an excerpt here, and then we're going to look at some feeling words. Everyone called them askers or hobos, but not Grandma. She reminded me, if your dad hadn't gotten the job at Uncle Will's shop in Florida, he could be riding rails too. And we know this is from The Sign of the Cat. Not my dad. He dressed in neatly pressed clothes. His razor clean face smelled like Burma shave. Those men wore stained, wrinkled clothes and had scraggly beards. Ray, Tony, and Sal had been the ones to knock on our door tonight. It felt strange to call grown-ups by their first names, but Tony explained, no need for last names in Hooversville. People blame President Hoover for our country's hard times. So Hooverville is what they called the places where hobos set up camp. So I'm paying attention to Grandma because the question's asking me about Grandma's perspective and how she feels, right? Grandma has strong feelings about the people that show up at her door. So let's see. I'm going to pay attention to her actions to kind of clue me in as to how she feels. So everyone called them hobos, but not Grandma. She reminded me that if Dad hadn't gotten the job, that he would be one of these people too. So she's thinking about how these people are similar to them, and they shouldn't have the door shut on their home, right? That they should be invited in. So now I'm going to think of a good word to describe how she's feeling. And I have this tool here to help me. Is she feeling open about the idea, happy about the idea of letting them in, alive, good, love, angry, depressed, confused, helpless, or afraid? I can definitely eliminate all of the bottom ones down here because I know she doesn't feel in a negative way. She feels positive about them. So maybe I can say like she's open to helping them. So let's look at under open. She feels kind, confident, reliable, easy, amazed, free, sympathetic, interested, or satisfied. A word here that I could use is probably sympathetic. That's like when you feel sympathy for someone. You're like, oh yes, I feel bad for them and I want to help them. So it describes perfectly how Grandma is feeling. So maybe I can say, instead of saying I would describe Grandma's perspective as helpful, I could say I would describe Grandma's perspective as sympathetic to help others because she wants to help others. That is a much stronger feeling word that I can use. And now I'm really describing her feelings as opposed to describing her traits. Alright guys, I'm going to invite you to try this work. Before we try it, I want to remind you of our teaching point, which was that we need to think about character perspective by thinking about what we know about the character's life experience and their role to explain why the character feels this way. So we know that her role here is of a grandma. She's like an older person. She wants to show her grandson right from wrong. So that's her role in society. She's grandma, she's somebody who's looking after others. And how does her life experience play into the way that she's treating others? Well, we know that she says if your father didn't have that job, he would be the same as these people here coming and asking us for help. So we understand really why she has that perspective, why she feels this way. You will be doing the same. You are going to think about how the character I'm about to show you feels based on their life experience and based on their role in life, which is our teaching point. So the question you're going to work on answering is, the soldier has strong feelings about the prisoner that was talking about the queen. How would you describe the soldier's perspective? So in this case, you guys are going to focus on the soldier and how he is feeling. What is his perspective? What does he want to happen? What are his feelings? Okay, so I'm going to show you a short film about a pharaoh, which is another word for a ruler. And this ruler is a queen. This is taking place during ancient Egypt. So it's a historical fiction text. So I really want you guys to think about the roles of the characters. But for our sake, you are going to focus on the role of the soldier. Let's give it a try. Here is our prisoner and the soldiers right here.
We found this man in the streets slandering your name in front of a crowd. The law demands that heretics like him must be executed.
Wait! There must be something else we can do.
The punishment for treason has always been death, hasn't it?
Readers, you are going to be using this tool to help you out if you need it. So think about the soldier's perspective about the prisoner that was just brought in, that was talking about the queen. Remember that today we practice on thinking about character's perspective by using what we know about a character's life experience and their role to explain why the character feels this way. Good work, everybody. Give it a try, and we can't wait to read your work. See you later.